Hey everyone, welcome to our series. We'll build a recipe app using Angular and Angular.js featuring listing, creating, and deleting recipes. We'll tackle issues together, offering a real insight into app development. Each video will be short and will have minimal editing, and this app development will span across several videos. And the final code will be linked in the video description. So let's get started. Let's head to ChatGPT and just tell it what we're looking for. Now, what I want to build here is build a recipe. You know what? I'm not gonna even edit misspelling. It should understand it. Build a recipe app that will list, create, and delete recipes. Use Angular for front end and Express.js for backend. In terms of storage, I don't want to deal with any of the databases at this point, so I'm going to ask for storage. Use a simple JSON format and keep the recipes on disk for now. What else can I ask? Let's say use Bootstrap for minimal styling. So the goal of this specific video, I want to have the app up, the front end and the back end. I want to be able to list the recipes on the screen, just the listing for now, and then we'll do the creation and deletion. So let's see if this is enough to get it going. So mostly it'll be scaffolding. All right, first it tells to install the backend. Okay, and then how about the front end, installing Angular? All right, let's do the backend real quick. Sorry, I'm probably scrolling a little too fast. But here it is. Let me see. I supposed to have a folder. All right, so this is the folder for this app. So let's start copying over some commands. And what I'm gonna do is separate the backend and front end, so I have separate package JSON files. So here I'm going to make a directory called backend. Oh, it says already exists. That's weird. Maybe it's some leftover. Let me get rid of it. rf backend. There you go. Now create a new one. And then navigate into it. And then execute the command I just copied from ChatGPT, which is installing Express. And I'm not sure what body parser does. And fs, but let's see. So it installed the app. And let me open this this repository, or this folder, in VS Code. Takes a moment here, and in the meantime, what I also like to do is to split this pane into it popped VS Code right in front of me when I was pushing the hotkeys meant for the iTerm. Now let me split this screen. Oh, look at that. I already had it split. So I have two parts of this pane. Let me clear this one. And in the VS Code, let's open the folder. All right, so this is our backend. Now let's go back to ChatGPT, and it says have server.js and the folder. In the folder called data with recipes JSON. So let's create server.js. In the backend, so that'll be here. And not folder. All right, the file. There you go. collapse the sidebar, and now copy the contents of server.js, paste it in. Let's see what it does so far. Grabbing Express, grabbing the recipes. That's the API endpoint for reading it. Okay, read the file and return parse JSON. Otherwise, if you can't read file, return 500. All right. For creating recipes and all that, that's I'll just leave it here as is. I don't care if it's working at the moment. All I care for this specific video is listing the recipes. So at a glance, this looks okay. So the next step is to move on to, oh wait, we gotta install the recipes JSON. Let's add it here again. They put it under the data folder. And then in here, the file, recipes JSON. Is there a sample to begin with? There's not. Let me ask it real quick. Let's say generate the sample data for recipes.json. And then I'll just copy and paste it. All right, it generated 2 sample recipes, and then I'm just gonna put it in here. Next, let's go back up to the front end portion and install some Angular. Let's go back here. Actually, let's leave this for the back end, this pane. And this one will be for the front end. So here I expanded it and I make a directory for the front end. Or actually, you know what? The command for installing the Angular app, I think it'll create a separate folder. So what we're going to do is first make sure that we have Angular CLI by executing this command. And let's copy over the next command in the meantime, which is this one, which is to generate a new app. Paste it and rename the app. We'll just call it front end. So it'll create a front end folder in our repository. We'll just use simple CSS for styling. Server-side rendering, let's say no. And then it creates the files. And doing npm install under the hood. Let's see, the next command will be to navigate into the directory with the app and then generating a service. Let's see, the service will probably be meant to be to make API calls. But you know what? I just want to keep things simple. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna simplify it. So for the Angular app, let's skip adding the service and components and just put all the things into the app component TS. And then it regenerates the file, and that way we can quickly just get to see if the things are working. All right, let's see if our app generated. We'll go to front end and scroll up a little bit where it told us how to generate Angular, and this is the command to serve it. So let's start that and gserve. Okay, this is the URL to get to it. So this is supposed to be just a scaffolded, plain, brand new Angular app, the way it comes out of the box. So the next thing I'm going to do is go to ChatGPT and grab the updated version that I asked it to generate. And look at that, and it generated the template within within the app as well, but I'll use the separate template file that it provided here. Front end, source, app, and this is app component TS. Oh yeah, I copied the template, right? So I'm going to just replace this whole thing with the template from ChatGPT. And next is the controller code. So it has a few things here. Properties, constructor with the dependency injection for HTTP client. I just copy all that. And for now, again, I only care about the part that lists the recipes. So this is it. There are a few highlights. Let's see what it's complaining about. So property recipes has no initializer and is not definitely assigned in a constructor. So it complains about the value. What if we say it equals an empty array initially? Now it's highlighted here. So it doesn't like that we implicitly use any type. So let's use it explicitly. So we'll say that this is any. Is that how you can do it? Specify the type in the parameter? Nope. Okay, let me take care of the highlights one by one. So the goal here is to grab the code that ChatGPT generated and make it work by getting rid of all the highlights. So first one is this HTTP client. What I do usually to fix those is I pretend that I am typing that in and then pick the autocomplete, and then it sticks the import at the top. Okay, so got rid of that highlight. Oh, look at that, and everything else got taken care of. So is this just going to work? I'm curious. Let's visit the app here. Now it's complaining about not being able to use ng model within the template, which is right here, which is part of the creation add recipe. So if I don't care about it, can I just comment it out and then it'll stop complaining and build the app? Okay, there's more green here. So did it actually do it? Let's see. No, it didn't build it. So I guess it's related to this warning. Complaining about ng4. And it says that to use ng4, you need common module imported. But also, there's a new way of iterating over the elements within the templates in Angular using add4 format. But the problem is that current ChatGPT doesn't know about it. It's a fairly new thing. So let's do this. Let's find the documentation for Angular add4. And then just copy this whole thing. And then tell ChatGPT, there is a new way to iterate in Angular templates using add4. Here is the documentation. And just paste what we copied from documentation and then enter it. And I didn't even ask it to update its method to use it. It's just doing it on its own. So where's the part where it iterates? So this is the ng4 that it was supposed to update, but it didn't. We've replaced regular ng4 with add4. Where did it do that? Why am I not seeing it? Is it just hallucinating again? Yeah, it's just completely ignored So let's try again. Let's try again. In your template, just show the template with the use of add4. There you go. Now it's using add4. Was it using it? It wasn't using it before for sure. Yeah, it was using just regular ng4. All right, so now it's using add4. And I'm going to copy the template and stick it in here. And let's see what happens. Rebuilding the app. Unexpected token let. So is it not supposed to have let? Let's see. So if we remove let, will it compile? Unexpected token semicolon. So this format, yeah, ChatGPT just makes stuff up. So let's see if we can trim that off. Unexpected token of. You know what? Might be just easier to look at the documentation and re-implement it on our own. So it does. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's just, it's not putting it as part of the tag. It's making it its own thing like that. So here it'll be recipe of recipes, track item name. Here we're tracking by recipe ID. I think that's what the backend is providing us. And then on the inside of it, let's copy this. And we need to close the bracket here. Let's get rid of the empty for now. And now this should work. Let's see. The rebuild. Let's see, column 8, unexpected token of. Right here. So now I'm not quite sure why it's not liking it. You know what? Let me just restart the command that serves it. Still didn't like the of right here. But I copied it from the example. There's no let in here. It's very, very strange. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to get rid of this. There you go. Now it should compile. Aside that, now it doesn't like ng model, which is ng model right here. All right, to use ng model, I think we need to make an import of. We still need the common module. So let's do that. I think that's the solution. So here will be common module. I don't know, maybe it's not common module for ng model. So let's copy this error for ChatGPT. And it'll know what to do with that. Forms module. Okay, that makes sense. Copy this. Auto import. Check the output. All right, now it's complaining at ngIf because it's the same thing as with ng4. And let's teach it. Maybe this time it'll work. So let's try it one more time. Let's find the documentation for if, at if, instead of ngIf and copy it. It's like super simple. Why is not getting it? Now here is the new way of using the if in Angular templates. Update our template to use that, but also I made modifications to the template. Remember, I got rid of the stuff that wasn't working. So let me copy this and tell it, here is what worked for the template and the iteration. Maybe it'll learn. Okay. Now go back to the @if documentation. Now here, you gotta retype it again. Now here is the new way for using the if statement. Please update the template accordingly. Okay, getting an error. Let's regenerate. And now it's still using ngIf. Wow, that is not very helpful. This is now what happened with my experience. Oh look, here it's using the current one, the one I asked for. And you know what? Let's just get rid of it for now. It's not being helpful. Let's get rid of this, or just comment it out, right? And then copy this line, comment it out, and for this version of this div, just get rid of this stuff. And then see if it reloads. Okay, so now it compiled without any errors. And if we reload the app, nothing comes up. Interesting. Yeah, that's probably because, let's see, I'll show you if we go to the template. And if we, okay, so I supposed to see at least this title here, but I don't. So let's pop the inspector. And it's complaining about not being able to import HTTP client. Didn't I import it in the control? Oh, look at that. It is in the constructor, but I think the module, we also need HTTP module of some kind. HTTP client module. There you go, like that. Okay, and now look at this. This loads, even though it it ignored my request to use Bootstrap for styling. It didn't do any of that at all. But let's see. Now there's some errors about ng model is used within the form tag. Either the name of the attribute must be set. All right, I think this is okay for now. What I want is just to list the recipes. So let's see, there is a part of the controller that fetches the recipes, and it makes the API call against this. And that makes me realize that we did not start the backend server. Back at the prompt where initially, sorry for the very fast scroll, where it scaffolded the server, this was the command to start it. So we use the other pane to start the node server in the backend, and it's listening. Okay, so now restart the app, but also at the same time, let's look at the network tab and check if it's making the API call when we load the page there. Okay, it's calling recipes and it's getting the course error. Access to this endpoint from origin has been blocked. So let's say copy this error for the backend, and just paste it for the AI. Let's see if it'll figure out. All right, it tells us to install cores for the backend. So let's cancel our server, install cores, and then update our backend implementation. So this is the course, right? And then we just, all right, looks like we just need to add a couple of lines. The new thing is this, importing course, and then open our server.js. Let's collapse everything. And then backend, server.js. And then importing course. And then using it right here like that. And then restart the node server. Okay, it's listening. Reload our Angular app. Watch the network tab. Remove this delay. And now look at this. It returns the recipes. Remember we had two recipes in scaffolded in the JSON file in data right here. So they are in our Angular app. Well, that was a lot harder to get to this point than I imagined with ChatGPT. It was not extremely helpful. So we'll see how it goes with building out the next features.